there are two elements that might lead to cancer not being detected. One of them is the methods that are used, and the other is errors by human errors, basically by practitioners.
Yeah.
And on the side of entering into artificial intelligence, how can artificial intelligence be applied to this problem so as to improve the results?
Yeah. So I think, I mean, one definite advantage of software is that it is more consistent. It does not, get tired. It doesn't have Monday mornings. It doesn't have those kind of things. So that's something that it will kind of even out those kind of fluctuations in human performance. And in screening, we are always two radiologists that review each exam. So even if one might miss something, the other one could catch it. But on the other hand, if you have, and another thing that is different between people is not only that you might, lose your attention for some seconds or whatever, but it's also the level of your when do you become suspicious? How obvious must the sign be before you feel that this is something that we should move forward with to discuss if this could be cancer? Because in medicine, we like to categorize. We don't like, it's hard to work with. At some point, we need to have categories because we need to make a decision. We cannot examine a woman to 70% or so. I mean, we have to either recall her for further examinations or not recall her. So it's like a binary decision. And first, two radiologists review the images, and if any of them find something suspicious, then two radiologists discuss together in a consensus discussion to decide whether to recall her or not. But still, it's like binary decisions in the initial assessment, and it's a binary assessment to recall or not. You could use other systems like with 5 grades, but at some point you need to decide, should we recall her or not recall her? So there is a binary decision. So that means that, what is required to make you flag a case as potentially malignant might be different from what I require, And if you combine readers, it kind of balances out to some extent. So even if I'm less suspicious than you, we will both review the image, and you will probably find it then. But since we don't allocate readers randomly or in a systematic way, it could be that one exam is assessed by 2 readers, both of which have quite a high threshold for being suspicious, and that means that woman will not get kind of the same level of assessment as another woman might. So AI will, one example is to how to implement AI would be to replace one of the 2 radiologists. Then you have a consistent assessment by AI all the time, but the radiologist might vary a little bit, but it's that variation is kind of made more similar between women because AI is like the same all the time. So that's one way you can implement it, and that's the way we have also examined in a clinical study at Sankt Göran Hospital in Stockholm to see what is the potential for that, and what would it lead to when it comes to cancer detection, but also when it comes to how many cases are moved forward to the consensus discussion, because it is easy to increase the number of cancers detected by just lowering the threshold, but then it becomes not possible to implement it, because if you would recall too many women, there are no radiologists that can handle it. It will cost a lot. Too many women will be worried. So it's important to have the right balance between recalls and cancers detected. So so in that study we compared having 2 radiologists with having 1 radiologist plus AI, or having only AI as the initial reader, deciding which cases should be discussed in the consensus discussion. So that's the way we implemented it there. There are other ways. There is another one of the AI companies. They instead they categorize all the exams into 10 categories, where the category 10 is the most suspicious for cancer. And in the studies or the implementations they make, they seem to instead say that category 1 to 7 can be assessed by one radiologist, and category 8, 9, 10 should be assessed by 2 radiologists, because it's more likely to contain cancer. I'm not sure which type of implementation is best, but of course, if you do it that way, you save a little bit less radiologist resources, because you will still have 2 radiologists on the top, like 3 categories, around 30% of the exams, but it's a different type of implementation.